Hey, honey.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, everybody. I'm Fen,
I'm Laura.
and this is Recipe Roulette, a cooking show where we...
Choose a cookbook, open to a page at random, and make what it says.
And tonight we're making...
A sugarless donut.
Ooh.
Yeah, this comes from the New York Times Natural Foods Cookbook.
All right, well, let's show them what they need for ingredients.
Okay. So the ingredients for your sugarless donuts. We've got a half a cup of milk, a half a cup of sour cream, 1/2 cup of white flour, 2 cups of whole wheat flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of yeast, 3 egg yolks, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, the grated rind from 1 lemon, and 2 teaspoons of honey. Okay, let's put this together.
All right, so the first step, you're going to need the butter, the milk, the butter, the honey, and the sour cream. We're going to steam the milk on the espresso machine. If you don't have an espresso machine, you're going to want to heat this up in a saucepan till it's just about to start to boil. And if you're using the espresso machine like I'm going to use, you're going to try not to foam it. You're going to try to get as little foam as you can. So I'm going to steam this. We'll be back for the next piece of this step 1. All right, so we got our milk nice and hot to the touch. We're going to add this into our bowl with our sour cream. If you were doing this on the stovetop with a saucepan, you just add your sour cream into your saucepan. Give it a good thorough mix. Let's get a small spoon out here so we can scoop all of this honey in here too. A little bit more milk in there just to get the honey flowing. Okay. And then we're going to add our butter into this and get a little stirred up. Wait for our butter to melt while we get the rest of this. You know what? Actually, I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to melt this butter because this butter came out of the freezer. Oh, I put that butter right into our cinnamon. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You know, I'm not a professional chef. I make mistakes just like everybody else. So we got a little cinnamon butter going in here. A little bit of our cinnamon's going in ahead of everything else. Alright, I'm going to pop this in the microwave for 30 seconds, get it melted, and stirred in with our sour cream, butter, sour cream, milk, and honey. Keep wanting to call milk butter. See, I even did it there. I'll keep trying to call butter butter. Alright, now we got our melted butter. We're going to stir this in, get it mixed up. Careful. Let's actually transfer this over to a big bowl because we're going to steam the milk and then use like the sour cream at room temperature and melted the butter in the microwave. We're actually able to skip the step of letting it cool down to room temperature like you would if you were bringing it just to a boil in a saucepan on the stove. We're actually that. is nice and a good room temperature. Remember, if you're going to staple yourself, wash your hands first. All right, and we're going to add in our yeast to this. Get that nice and incorporated. The reason why we want it to get chilled down to a room temperature is because if it's too hot, we'll end up killing that yeast, and then our donuts will be very dense and not very light and fluffy like we want them to be. So we got them. All right, got that stirred in, and we're going to add our eggs.
No.
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 Oh.
We wanted it to dissolve. Did it dissolve?
It dissolved. The yeast dissolved.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Okay. Egg yolks and salt.
Egg yolks and salt. Egg yolks and salt. Well, let's get the egg yolk stirred in here. And actually, I'm going to mix our salt in with our flour because I don't want it to kill our yeast off too much. I know this is probably not in the cookbook, but it's a cooking secret. Because if I put that salt straight in there, it's going to cause a lot of damage to the yeast. The yeast is never really going to fully recover from it. So we want to buffer our salt with some flour so we'll still get lots of that leavening action. Now we don't want to open fire on the yeast, but we do want to have some control so it's not like...
That wasn't going in next.
It's going in next.
Okay, but so is the cinnamon and the lemon rind.
Okay, lemon and the cinnamon. Well, we already got a little bit of the cinnamon in there because I accidentally dropped it into the butter into it. So we'll get this all mixed up and move it over to a spatula. You know how I like to make that spatula city joke all the time, Laura?
Yeah.
Well, I was actually watching another movie earlier today, and it was kind of funny because the dad in that movie, the son's is trying to get a football scholarship to go to college. And it's like, it's all right, son. If you don't get into college, you can always work at the spatula store with me. And I was like, oh my God, they referenced Spatula City in another movie?
That's great.
Yeah. It was that, It's a Boy-Girl thing. The movie I told you, it was kind of like Freaky Friday with the body switching, but it was the boy next door and the girl next door. And then they end up falling in love. It's a really good movie. Check it out. It's on Tubi. We're not sponsored by Tubi. I'm just chatting while I'm stirring this stuff up. Make it a little more entertaining for you. Alright, so we got that all mixed up. So the flour is the last step. The whole wheat flour. We're just going to get this incorporated. And once it's all mixed together, we're going to let it sit until it's light. We don't know if that means light and fluffy or if it's going to change color, but we're going to let this sit until something happens with light, and then we'll be back and tell you what happened. Okay, so our dough for our donuts has been sitting here for 30 minutes. It feels light. It doesn't, the color hasn't really changed. It's not glowing, but it has risen up, so I guess it's lightened itself up. So we are going to, I'm going to put a little, take my ring off. I'm going to put a little avocado oil. Don't want to give it our donuts an olive oil taste. Just going to avocado oil up my hands real quick so I can work this dough and not have it sticking to me. And so I can have a nice good surface to work on without it sticking to the surface. Grabbing one of our silicone mats, putting that down on the cutting board. And just gonna flatten this out till it's the size of our silicone baking mat. About a 1/4 inch thick all the way across. That's good. Size there. Flatten it out. I'm gonna grab shot glass and I'm going to make some donuts out of this. And the cool thing about oiling our hands while we're working that dough out is that gives us a nice little bit of oil on it. So when we pop these in the air fryer, we're not going to have too many problems. But I'm going to put a little more oil on my hand, spread that out on top because I'm getting my shot glass starting to stick. Just need to keep cutting these out. Maybe I'll get one more right there and another one right there. Alright, we're going to pick up the bits that didn't get cut into our little circles and put those back into our mixing bowl. And we're going to let this batch of our little donut holes, these are actually big donut holes, we're going to let them sit for 5 more minutes.
We want to cover them also.
And we're going to cover them with a towel. And then we're ready. Once these rise up, we're going to pop these ones into our air fryer. We made sure to line the inside of our air fryer with a piece of parchment. And we're going to air fry these at 350 degrees for 8 minutes.
I think you were right the first time. 360.
360?
Let's double check.
Alright, while she's double checking, I will do the happy dance that we're getting donuts. Donut, donut, donuts. Donut, donut,
Well,
donut.
370 actually.
Alright, so 370 for 8 minutes?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. 370, 7 minutes, 377. Alright. We'll be back for the first bite. Really lemony. Really fresh. So, you're noticing a difference between mine and Laura's. I made my little rounds with the shot glass. By flattening it out, she made her little donut balls, or holes, just by rounding out what was left of the dough. So.
Yeah, I was saying that it's made with whole wheat flour. The yeast ate all the honey in it, so it's actually a reasonably healthy snack.
Yeah, not too overly sweet. It's got some carbs to it, but if I don't go crazy, she'll let me have them. And I think you can substitute, if you're allergic to whole wheat flour, which I know one of our primary viewers who likes every single one of our videos is, Mom, you can substitute like white flour for the whole wheat flour.
I'm sure that works fine too. Okay, anyways, next week
We've got some beets in the fridge, so we decided to break out Simply in Season. There are 7 beet recipes in Simply in Season. I got a D8 here. If I roll an 8, I'm going to re-roll, but for right now, we got recipe number 6.
So we lost the page of that. Recipe number 6 is a whole beet skillet.
Whole beet skillet. That sounds tasty. All right, so join us next time for the whole beet skillet. Not the half beet skillet, the whole beet skillet.
Okay, bye everybody.
Peace. All right, one more thing before we go. Yeah, no, just round them up into the little balls. I just stole one of Laura's. Way better than mine. So don't do the shot glass thing. Just little balls. And you're good.
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.